Well, hello, Simmers. Welcome to our latest podcast with the head of the SIMS studio, Rod Humble. Hi, Rod. How you doing today?
Hey, Dan. I'm doing fantastic.
Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us.
Thank you for this very spontaneous invitation to a casual conversation. Who knows what we're going to talk about?
Who knows? Who knows what we're going to talk about?
It could go anywhere.
Could go anywhere. But I think it's gonna go one place specifically, and that is this.
Are you implying there a script?
I'm implying that there's something on the community's mind and
a burning question.
A burning question, and they have a lot of questions about this new Sim Stories game.
So the Sim Stories is a new line of Sims games built upon the Sims 2 engine, and you can play a series of stories, and we picked some very popular genres. So the first Sim Stories product is a pair of romantic comedies. You can think about one of them as being a chick flick, and one of them being a guy flick, and one of them is funny and romantic, and one of them is funny and a little bit sexy.
So it has a directed story mode, which is new to the Sims 2 franchise.
That is correct.
And users on our BBS have not really understanding how that works. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Certainly. There is a series of events that come up that you fulfill to follow the story, and there's a whole lot of dialogue. It's kind of amusing, but also as you complete the story and at the end of it, you can go freeform, or you can play your regular open-ended gameplay anytime you like. So you can leave it and just play your open-ended gameplay, or at the end, once you finish the story, you can then find out what happens and just make your own story continuing.
Okay, so it sounds like there's goals during the gameplay, and you have to achieve build relationships in order to make that story continue.
Absolutely. It starts simple with things like Riley wants to put on a good dress to go out, and ends up with much more complicated things about solving a relationship in a restaurant problem.
Right. And then after that, it goes into more open-ended mode.
That is
where
correct.
You can do whatever you want to do, just like regular Sims
That's right.
gameplay.
Then you get all of your emergent behavioral goodness, as we in the biz say.
All right. Yeah, that's where the fans get creative.
That is correct. Bless them all.
Bless them all. All right. So the next question is: will users be able to upload or download content from the exchange?
No, they won't. This is a standalone product that is aimed at people who are new to the franchise. And so it works on lower system machines. We also have put in some laptop features. And as such, we didn't want to put in all of the exchange stuff from the get-go. That's pretty advanced. I think the people who are on our fan site, bless them, who are listening, are very, very advanced users. And obviously the Sims 2 is a very complicated game. And the exchange is something that we didn't put in this product.
Okay. But there are a few downloads I've seen available on the website for the game. So users will be able to download a few custom-made objects, but in general,
that is correct.
The exchange is not something that will work for them.
Yeah,
okay.
The Sim Stories site is a place where you go to get some cool stuff.
Okay. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into a little bit more of the juicy details. Can you tell us what is going on with Riley and what's going on with Vincent? These are the two characters from the game.
So the two stories, first of all, Riley's story is she is down on her luck. She just lost her job, and she has moved in with her aunt to try and get away from her troubles. And she meets a great guy, and as that seems to be going very well, one of her old boyfriends comes back into her life.
Yeah.
And the intriguing romance begins.
Then ensues.
Who is going to be her true love?
Who will be the true love? It's a story that we've all faced.
It is. Who hasn't faced that?
Who hasn't faced
Who
that?
hasn't had two adorable people both fighting over one? That I have to live with that every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Vincent's story is he's a guy who's got a successful career, and he's got the looks. He's much like you, but he is unlucky in love. And it is
much like me as well.
No, that is not true.
No.
And he goes through a series of dates trying to find the right girl for him, and at the end he has to make some pretty tough choices between his career and love. Will you make the right choice? Because it's your choice in the end as the player.
This seems like a kind of a different step for the Sims division. Why are they kind of going in this direction? Why is the Sims division has decided to kind of go with this kind of more directed gameplay mode or laptop friendly type game?
Well, The Sims, as you know, has been a very successful franchise and has opened up a lot of people to the world of gaming. But it's still a very, very complicated product. It's very deep, actually, which is why some people find it intimidating. So we wanted to make a product that it was an invitation to join the franchise. And the idea came about with, I used the analogy of walk into a bookstore and place all of the video games that you know somewhere on the shelves. And I think you'll find that they tend to cluster quite closely. And so our idea was, well, let's start filling out the rest of the bookstore. And the stories line came out thinking about that with, well, there's drama and comedy and romance and a whole vein that hasn't been touched by other games. So we started off with a romantic comedy, and then we're going to do pet stories, which are basically, buddy movies with adorable little furry pals, and you have those stories, and then finally castaway stories, which I'm really looking forward to, where what would it be like if you lost everything and you were cast away on a desert island, with interesting people to relate to, and for example, how would you and I get along if we were cast away on a desert island?
We would have a grand house.
We would, but perhaps we should address that in a later podcast.
Oh yeah, part two.
That's right.
Castaway.
Part 3 even.
Rod and Dan Castaway on an Island podcast. Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
So that was our thinking: is how can we bring new experiences and classic tales? The love triangle is a classic tale. The man who has everything but the love of a good woman is a classic tale. And so we've addressed that in the first product, and we hope to expand that as we go forward. If our lovely customers enjoy the products and they respond well.
They're made with laptop in mind, but they'll run on a PC, correct?
That is correct. They have a lower system spec than Sims 2, so they'll run on older PCs, and they're easier to install and get up and running. And they have a bunch of laptop features as well, like they'll tell you the battery life. They're easy to alt tab out of, that whole thing.
Like if you close the lid and it autosaves.
That is correct. Yeah.
And there was and as a shortcut, there's new keyboard shortcuts.
That is correct. So you can instead of using a mouse all the time, you can hit F to go and get someone to eat food, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So here's the big question.
Yes.
Have you played the game, and how do you think the community at large will respond?
I've played the game, and I was surprised just how much I enjoyed it. I come from a hardcore gaming background, and I really enjoyed taking Riley on her dates, and I got kind of excited when I got called back by the dishy guy to go out to dinner. So it was really fun, and I love the products.
I think the community will be happy with it?
I hope so, and I hope that they will recommend it to their friends as an easy way to get into The Sims.
Okay, Simmers, that wraps up this podcast. Thanks a lot, Rod, for coming in today and chatting with us. If any of the audience out there has any questions, they can check them out at thesimstories.com. Website's up already. There's a new video up. There's screenshots, and if you want to see anything about the upcoming pet stories, life stories, or castaway stories, they're all listed there.
Thanks, man. It's been a lot of fun. I hope we can do more of these things in the future in our completely spontaneous way, the way we are. We just get up and we're like, hey, let's just go talk to people. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And it's amazing. We've got all these facts at our fingertips.
Facts at our fingertips. And if the community has any requests for podcasts, post them on the BBS at thesim2.com.
It's going to be a pretty exciting year here in the Sims division. Plenty to talk about.
This February, meet Riley.
Kareb!
She's the new girl in town, which means making new friends. And making new enemies. She's looking for love.
Soft-C?
And with your help, she just might find it. Because after all, it's her life, but it's your story. Get to know Riley better at thesimsstories.com. Rated T for Teen.